So today we are looking at networking and building strategic partnerships, how to expand our influence and create valuable business connections. So from all that we have actually interacted with, one of the beautiful things I love about the Live Simple community is the fact that people from different industries, business-minded owners, leaders, come together to learn and get their business to the next level. And today is not an exception. It's so fantastic to hear everyone, and everyone in this room, we all belong to different sectors of the economy. But then we will definitely look out for beyond the room, and even whilst we are here, how we can actually strategic partnership. I will just be looking out for how we are going to be able to maximize this knowledge, because I don't believe in just we learning. I believe in the doing of the learning, because that is actually what brings the kind of results that we desire. So a bit about me. My name is Dr. Toyin Samemehelu, and I'm a competent, seasoned consultant. I'm also a certified leadership coach and mentor. I run my own business. My business is basically into the business of, it's an education-based business where we share learning, we share information, trainings for organizations, whatever organizations, just to make sure that there is a level of upskill and knowledge. Okay, I'm also a doctor of educational planning and management from Porus University in the United States of America. You're welcome, sir. I'm a certified business consultant with the School of Consulting in the United Kingdom. I also have a certificate in public leadership and policy from the School of Politics, Policy and Governance, which is owned and led by Dr. Obi Ekwesili, former Minister of Education, Nigeria. I also am the Senior Special Assistant to the Director General at the Chartered Institute of Mentoring and Coaching Nigeria. I'm a fellow at that institute as well as the International Management Consulting. I'm an author of 27 books. As you can see on the table, I have 5 of them in print, while 22 of them are actually soft copies. I'm a wife and a mother to a teenager and a preteen. And of course, I'm a recipient of several awards. I'm also integrated into the SDG trainings, especially for SDG 4, which speaks about quality education. So my background is actually in academia, trainings, consulting, coaching. So more or less like providing support for businesses when it comes to learning and development. All right. So that's me in a nutshell. Thank you so much. Thank you. So just before we go, we had 2 people come in. Fantastic family with lovely children. Don't mind me, I have bias for children. It's my 27th year of being an educator. So you will permit me, I've taught across all boards. From children to the old age. So, sir, can we meet you? Basically, your name and how can we strategically form partnership with you, meeting you for the first time?
Okay. My name is Uchuku Namumaduba. I am an entrepreneur. I master's degree holder from University of Lagos. I'm a father with 4 kids. And, my wife is actually my business partner.
Wow.
Presently, top distributors from a Malaysian company.
Okay.
Called Diversity International.
Okay. I can see the T-shirt. And what do you distribute?
Wellness products, stem cell products.
Okay, fantastic. So that's a beautiful, because health is wealth, really. Yeah. That's a beautiful platform to connect. All right, ma'am. Can we get to hear from you? Good morning.
I'm Dr. Lono.
Wow.
Doctor,
fantastic.
A health premium. I love meeting new people. I love new things. I love experiences. And I love family-oriented projects.
Fantastic.
Okay, so, and I particularly love to work with people who want to step out of their comfort zone.
Beautiful.
And then we do business together.
All right, amazing. Nice to have you in the room. Okay, so just before you came in, every other person introduced themselves. She is into frozen foods, based in Solo, is into pest control. So if you need pests, I'm already marketing on your behalf. He's a structural engineer, and so maybe you want to build those edifices, and he's a realtor. Okay, so I just at the time when you came in, I just finished introducing myself. You want to train your team, you want to help to improve efficiency within your business, then I'm your plug. Okay, so basically you permit me, my mind, like I said, I am basically from the academia, so I'm going to do a bit of like some basic things when it comes to what exactly do I want to achieve in our conversations today. Two things. Number one, I want to see how we can analyze the dynamics of effective networking strategies and see how this will enhance mutual business growth for long-term success. I think for me is that sustainability and the long term. And secondly, I want to see how we can then begin to evaluate what is the impact of business connections and implementing action plans to help us, drive organizational growth and competitive advantage. No problem, sir. You're going to get the slides, definitely, from Bisola. Okay, so I'm going to start with two quotes. I love quotes. Can we see it here? Two keywords there, or three keywords, basically. Strategic partnership, yeah. Mutual benefits and shared goals. So those factors are very, very critical. So there's my favorite book in the world says, "Can two work together except they be agreed?" Which it's something that's, so if there is no mutual benefits and there's no shared goals, strategic partnerships would not work. So three major factors: people with people, people with ideas, and what? And people with opportunities. Now there's something fantastic about the world that we live in now. You don't have to have met someone physically before there's a partnership with ideas and before there is a form of partnership with opportunities. We all believe, it's no saying we are in a global environment, and that is just one fantastic thing that we all will consider when it comes to partnerships. So, like I said again, you will permit me, I'm a core academia. And so what did I do? I took my time to say, okay, so a lot of times we assume we know a lot of things, right? But then, by the time we try to reiterate and maybe remind ourselves about what these things are, what happens is we then get a new sense of meaning and also a contextual understanding of some of the things that we are here to learn today. So the first thing that I want us to look at there is networking. So it's a buzzword, network, and oftentimes we do not know that we miss out the place of information sharing and support. Sincerely, one of the most difficult things to sustain in our world today is relationships. And how many of us, we've gone to a lot of events and the networking stopped there and there? How many of us has it happened to? It has happened to me a lot of times, right? And I'm sure that a lot of us have also experienced that. Sometimes we even have business cards and we never go back. Sometimes we have people's contact on our phones and we have never even searched. We've never even taken time to withdraw to say, okay, let me take a look at how I can, who can I remember, who can I, as I'm even speaking now, there are like two people I needed to get back to. I totally forgot, but I'm promising myself after this. And sometimes they can even be very, very beneficial relationships, but so many things are, bombarding for our attention. So like this, creating a web of contacts that offer mutual benefits, opportunities, and growth is something that we have to be intentional about. So definitely it's not everybody that you meet at an event that you want to continue having partnerships. That's just the truth. But then you then want to take time to review some few people that you then see that, oh yes, having to just say hello, say hi, continue. So take for example, the last time I came here, I met a lady, a couple actually, Akin Shegu and his wife, and the wife told us that she's into helping parents whose children are addicted to the screen, helping them to be able to find alternatives. And sincerely, that was just all. And I happened to be in a meeting like on Sunday, and we're trying to organize something, and her name just popped up in my head. And voila, she was in my inbox during the week. I was able to get her an opportunity. So when we come for you see, at that spur of the moment, being an educator, I mean, I've been able to regulate my children's screen time for a long time. So personally, as a person, I didn't really feel that I needed a service, but I was in a meeting where we were having conversations about that, and then we did that. So it's important for us to be able to, even if we don't keep an immediate contact or context, we can always remember that, oh, at one time or the other, I met with this person and I'd like to build this. So let's look at building. It's actually the process of developing or forming something. So when we are looking at building, we want to construct foundation for strong, enduring relationships. For me, this is very, very pivotal, especially when I see that the relationship is very, very beneficial. Then we look at strategic partnerships. This is the word that jumps at me here. And what word is that? Purposeful. And then we want to create a what? Win-win scenario. Now, there was something I heard, maybe a podcast or a video that I watched, and it was talking about when you want to network, it's really not about you. It's about the person you are networking with. And that the word intimacy can be rephrased to say, into me you see. All right? Into me you see. And simply what that signifies is when you are out to network with someone, you want to be purposeful about it. Number one. Number two, you want to also see a way in which you can add value to that person. And there's something called the law of reciprocity. And it simply states that, you know, when you make something happen for someone, it's like you deposit in the human emotional bank account, right? And then what happens is nature, the universe, has a way of paying you back. Okay? Being here was not an easy feat. This woman has been on my case. I had to come up with the topic myself. Everything you see on this slide, I mean, if I'm to do this normally for an organization, I know how much I'm to earn. But I told myself that, okay, Leap Simple has been an organization that, yes, though I paid for the training, I didn't only pay for the Leap Simple, I don't know why I've not heard about KBB recently. You know, the Knowledge Business Boot Camp. I also paid for a 3-day boot camp that was like ₦1 million. But then I saw it as an opportunity to give back to Leap Simple, because whether I want to acknowledge it or not, they have been very pivotal to my business growth. You may want to give Leap Simple a round of applause for that. All right. So then we want to look at expand. Being able to grow your reach and capabilities through intentional efforts. Oftentimes, yes, networking online is beautiful. It's good. However, it's like all of us, we have overdone it. So when Leap Simple created an opportunity like this, I love the fact that we all went out of our way to come here, because sincerely, the main kind of interaction that God originally designed was for us to be able to network with people physically. However, we all took an attest here that we've met people online that we've never even met or never seen, and we've done businesses, you know, spanning into millions of dollars and what have you. So it's also very important that we do what? We grow our reach through intentional efforts. Then when we look at influence, you know, the ability the power to shape our decisions and our actions in our favor. Looking at create means initiating and forming new connections and opportunities. So we have to go out of our way to create. And I'm liking the way our world is now. Communities and tribes are spanning everywhere. I can never forget what Omegu said during the strategic, the convention. Yeah, okay, you were there, sir. And you know, there was something very pivotal that he said. He said, training, you know, will give you knowledge and skills. Mentoring and coaching will give you support and guidance. But he said the only way you can build wealth consistently is through a community. And I totally agree with him. So one of the things that I'm going to be sharing my story about how strategic partnership has really, really helped. And I'm sure a lot of us, if we can cast our mind back, we would also see that happening. Okay, so I'm going to be engaging us in some conversation now. And I would like us to just share some insights about, you know, how maybe any story or any event that we've had, strategic partnership we had with someone, and so I'm going to be taking us from here to here. How we're able to have that partnership and how it has resulted in helping us to maximize whatever it is we are doing or amplify whatever it is we are doing. So I'm just going to give us 1 minute to quickly think through any strategic partnership that we've had like that. So in this context, business partnership, right? And it could actually be any other form of partnership anyway, as long as we're able to think through the entire process and how it has been beneficial to us. Do I have anybody that wants to go? Anybody? Any kind of okay, go ahead, sir.
At the end of the day, yeah, you can have the partnership, but it's the end result that because the partnership I had eventually didn't end as
okay. It's also okay. It's also okay.
So when I needed to start my first company, that's about 8-10 years ago. So I called some friends.
Okay.
And they shared the idea. We agreed that we started. Then less than a year, 2 have to drop. Then the other 2 we went on for up to 5, 6, 8 years together.
Wow.
And eventually we still had to drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, because ideas became different, and goals and expectations became different. So as a result, we could not.
Yeah, that was a question I wanted to ask. That so, what could you draw on as lessons reflecting back? What could you say didn't go too well, as when you started, and what could have been the reasons why the partnership did not work?
Yeah, I would say clarity from the beginning is very important.
So you have actually said this. You have to clearly define your short-term and long-term business goals to guide your, strategic network. Beautiful. What else could you also deduce?
Yeah,
So there was division. So everybody was.
I'm not saying as human, also, we all naturally have greeds and tending to, you pull more to yourself and less to the other person. So, whether from me or from the other person,
From them, yeah.
human greed comes into decision making.
Human greed comes into decision making. Okay. All right. So that's good, and at least you were able to measure the impact either positively or the other way around. So it's still the same. Okay. So one of the things. So when we talk about network, but strategic networking, most of the time we are always thinking about meeting new people, right? And there is nothing wrong about meeting new people. A lot of us, we appreciate people outside. We do, it's just normal. We feel it's cautious, which everybody. It's not just, you understand? So take for example, I'll give my own my own family as an instance. So my husband hardly compliments me, and I don't see it as something totally wrong, right? But then there was a day I saw him compliment someone outside, as in a lady like me, and I was like, "Are you for real?" I had taken it like that's just who he is, right? And a lot of times I demand for it, I ask for it because I love it, right? And I just noticed that I keep forcing it. So at sometimes I had to do reverse psychology. When I dress for myself to feel good, and I look at myself in the mirror and I affirm myself. So I never expected I could do that for someone else outside, and that's just the way it works, right? So why I'm saying all of this is that we need to look at how we can convert and leverage on our existing network. So you may want to take some time to rekindle some relationships and explore potential collaborations. So yesterday, I feel so at the level at the SDG mentorship program that I was, we had to go on some form of projects, all right, and because my own SDG was around quality education, which was SDG 4, So what I did was, when I look at the project proposal, I had to start quickly writing the names of people in my network that I was going to get back to collaborate with me on that project, right? So that's just like a typical example that we can always dig deep, okay? And then these are people too that I have provided value for. So I know that it's easier for me to draw value from them as well. And then it's also very important that people that you know are very, very important in your sphere. So one thing I also try to do is I try to check people, you know, when Facebook will come up with so and so have birthdays this week. No matter, today. No matter how busy I am, I quickly scroll through to check whose birthday is. So for people that are very, you know, and they've made it so easy, just one click of button, you just say happy birthday on their timeline, okay? So as little as that, because most people that are already on this contact, and then for very close partnerships, please, it's very, very important that we reach out to them. I'm going to be sharing a lot of stories because I love stories. So there was a day recently, my husband's mentor turned 60, right? And they were just to have, he's the president of the Nigerian Cricket Federation, NCF. And so they were just going to have a little get together for him at TBS and all of that. And I spoke to my dad and said, I would like to go. Let me just, to cut the long story short, I made sure, the man just knows about me. I think I met him maybe once or twice before then. But I made sure that I got a gift. Do you understand? I bought a gift because I was just being very strategic. I wanted to still ingrain my person into, because a lot of people feel that people that are up there, they have everything they need now. It's very wrong. We are created for interdependence. So I made sure I bought a gift. And guess what happened? Can somebody guess? When I got to the venue and I discovered I was the only one that brought a gift for him that day. So that day was not particularly his birthday. He has had his birthday a day before, but for the cricket family. And did you know what he said? He told my husband, he said, please make sure when we are going on our next trip outside Nigeria, make sure Madam comes with us. All expense paid. How much was his gift I bought? How much was the gift I bought? Compared, you needed to see the way I was so happy. You know, but I didn't expect that, really. But like I said, it's also very, very important. So people that are very instrumental in our lives, don't let us just do the birthday thing on Facebook or anything. A call could make a difference. A little surprise here and there could make a difference. So I just finished talking about how we can leverage on our existing network. So now, looking out there, one of the very pivotal things we can do is we can take time to strategically check out for influencers in our industries. And one of the best way, one of the easiest way to connect with people that are, you know, top there in our industries, just look out for their programs. Whether it is coaching, mentoring, anything, pay. You know what you just paid for? You just paid for access. It's as simple as that. It's a very simple, it looks not very serious, but it's yet very powerful. So I say so sometimes it's not as if what they are going to teach there, I don't have an idea, or I don't know, or I don't, just for me. So for example, Mr. Ezekiel cannot say he doesn't know me. He knows me very well, because I didn't just do only strategy. I've done convention, I've done KBB. Do you understand? So you pay for access, and times when you would need some very, you know, insightful, especially when you know that in a particular area, I mean, they've been there, they've done that, where you are desiring to go. Just do that, and then you will get to see that the level of interaction will be different. And that is something I've done over and over and over and over again, and that is very, very pivotal. Then, when we attending of relevant events and conferences to maximize your presence. So, for example, we coming together here today. I mean, they said the first, how many people? The first 10 people, and we quickly got on it. I mean, for all of us to have done that, that means that we know the essence. But then, it is now how we can then maximize our being here, right? So, we look at, number one, aside from trainings like this, you look out for. So I like Instagram a lot recently because I mean there are a lot of, Facebook is like what do they it is good, it do matter. But this is like Instagram, a lot of people that have. LinkedIn is also very nice, but you certainly see sponsored that. I think LinkedIn ads is very, very expensive. So you would, but for Instagram, and then Instagram algorithm, I love it because what you continually watch, it will consistently give it to you back to back. But Facebook will mix it with comedy skits, will mix it with but the things that you want to see, but the things that you don't want to see, they will be giving you. So I love Instagram a lot, and on Instagram I've been able to get a lot of events that made a lot of sense. So we're researching, it doesn't matter, for my own industry I realized that it does work well. Then preparing is also very important. Whatever it is we do, we shouldn't just see it as it's because we are the ones that we are in it, so we feel it's general knowledge, it's common. There's nothing common about whatever it is you are doing. Sincerely, it is something that somebody out there will definitely need part-time. And then make sure that when you are, when you introduce yourself and you see someone very, so for example, I'm really looking at how I'm going to speak to her after the event already. Yes, and it gets why. Are you getting it? Not to say that I don't want to connect with every other person, but it's really just stood out for me because of I've done something around health and wellness, and something I would still want to learn more about, enough to look for how to give out value. So other ways we can do it is social media, content creation, email outreach, virtual events too. So let me give you an example of a story about a virtual event. So one of the things I also would recommend is look out for strategic organizations where you can serve as a volunteer. Not anyhow, strategic. Look out for that. Now, I volunteer on 2 platforms. One is the Chartered Institute of Mentoring and Coaching Nigeria. And if I tell you that right now, that partnership is like, it gives me like 30% of my revenue. Yeah, as a business. So I have a space on my financial sheet. And I came in as a volunteer. The second one is Equip Nigeria, which is the John C. Maxwell non-for-profit organization. It's not for profit arm. It has the business one, but the non-for-profit arm. And when I came in because it had to do with leadership transformation, and this is one of the strengths that I have. So consider where your strengths, your skills are, and look out for those organizations that you can be strategic with. In less than 2 months, I became the lead training and development facilitator for the whole of the 36 states in Nigeria. Yes. Thank you. And as I speak, I can't tell you how many opportunities. I mean, when I have to travel to Bell Supervisor, it's an all expense paid trip. On a normal day, flight is not anybody's it's not anybody's mate as we speak now. But there's a particular story I want to share. And this one was when I actually volunteered to be a mentor on the Teach for Nigeria platform. Now, the first meeting we had was a meeting where all the mentors were called on a Zoom call and everything. When I looked through, I said, for these people to, because of course we went through, it's voluntary, but we applied, we did interview, they still did selection. So, in my mind, like for everybody to be on this virtual meeting, the person must have substance. So, in such situations where it's a virtual platform where you see that people come together like that, look for a question to ask, even if you don't have a question. What did I say? Look for a question to ask, even when you don't have a question. And did you know what I did? So before you ask your question, you quickly introduce yourself. So that's why we have that elevator pitch. Are you getting my point? So immediately we had that meeting, after they were done with the briefing, I just raised up my digital hand and then they called me. I said, okay, well, my name is Dr. Toyin Samemehelu, this is who I am, this, under 2 or 3 minutes. So the moderator was even like, but we expected to just ask a question. I said, but courtesy demands that before I ask a question, I have to introduce myself. So the moderator just, to cut the long story short, while I was, so what was the question I asked? I said, this is a virtual meeting. Is there a time or an opportunity that will be given to all the mentors to meet physically? It was not a stupid question, but it was a question that I could as well not even asked or asked privately, right? But it was because I wanted to show and I wanted to network. Did you know what happened? Somebody just came into my inbox immediately. Oh, I like to. Right there on the call, we exchanged phone numbers. Although sometimes during virtual meetings, the settings might not permit. But if the settings permit, why not if not? To cut the long story short, this particular guy became my business mentor. And because of the fact that we met on that platform, he was able to give me some concession. So like I said, I paid for his services at the first instance, just to also get what? Access. That time he was working with Ernst & Young. How many of us know Ernst & Young? He was working in on a normal day. When will I start searching for another? And he was a senior auditor. He's younger than me, just clocked 30. But as I speak to you now, he's in Europe. He was poached by KPMG and is in charge of 56 branches in Europe. And he's just 30. And when this guy is on my case, I just behave myself. If he gives me deadline, I behave myself. He was charging $100 per hour way back. That was 2022. But I told him, Oga, I don't have $20, but you know what? I don't have $100. You know what I can do? I can pay this now, but there's something I will promise you. I'm a good marketer. I'll help you get more clients. Are we getting it? So it's not every time that is money. Social capital has been known as the most powerful capital on earth. Are we getting it? Yeah. And so that is one thing I want us to leverage on. Do we have questions, observations, comments before I proceed? I know that probably by the reason of what I've been saying, some of us have had some thoughts we may want to share quickly. Okay, if not, let's just move on. Okay, so it's not just enough for us to have those contacts or have or network. How do we then maintain and nurture it? That is where most of the work is. The maintenance and the nurturing. So we want to have regular check-ins. We want to provide value. We want to celebrate success of those people, and we want to make sure we reciprocate support. This is very, very key. Why? You want to be evergreen in the memories of people you are providing, you are having strategic networking. So we're going to have a practical session. Like I said, I'm an academia, so I'll give you classwork. You can write down names of 3 dormant beneficial relationships we think we are going to activate after this session. So right now what we're expected to do is just to write their names down after the session. So just think about, okay, what are the things you need? So for example, I did this myself when I was preparing the slide. Because me, if there's anything, there's a scripture in James that says, be afraid to be a teacher. I don't know if any of us have seen that scripture before. Okay. Let me search. It says, be afraid to be a teacher. You know why? You are the first that will be judged. You are the first that will be judged. So I sat down and I wrote those names. Like I said, I mentioned earlier that the project I'm about to embark on for SDG 4. So let's just take a look at our phone. Or first of all, you may want to think, okay, what do I actually need to solve? Right? Maybe not necessarily urgently. So for example, even this morning, because let me even share with us, I'm in need of an administrator. So if anybody has anyone staying around Ojota, Maryland, Ikeja, and Ojota, Maryland, Ikeja, and Surulere is even far. I don't want somebody Ojota, Maryland, Ikeja, and where? Okpebiale. So if anybody have, please let me know. You know, and I've actually spoken to Bola too about it this morning. So my current administrator got an opportunity to work in China, so she's jackpotting. That is just the reality of
So the
them.
next one will
Eh?
have that. The next one has the prospects to.
To Japa again. I don't know what she had worked with me for a year, right? So and it's just a thing of joy. So that's my most pressing need now. So I've actually mentioned it to all of us. But it's also very important that we also just think through what's my most pressing needs. Who are the kind of, who are 1, 2, or 3 people that I can reach out to that can help out with that. Okay? So that's your class assignment. And you can say that this class assignment, I will not mark it. You will mark yourself.
If you have this one as a good price today, you ignore it.
Okay?
Another one will definitely still come.
Spring up from that one that you ignored.
Because I'm chasing my strengths.
I
So you
think
should always
Okay.
get prepared.
Prepared for your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Okay, so
learn from it.
you learn from your weakness. Okay, sir, we've not heard your voice.
Okay, I think for that particular weakness, you work on the weakness.
You work on it. Okay?
Work on it. Because, for example, you might, let me use an example of, yes, you have accountant and you're actually trying to, you don't know the numbers. Please, that is a weakness for you. So, to an extent, you should be a bit knowledgeable, not overly knowledgeable, but a bit knowledgeable about it. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't use that as a means. Just that particular thing can, one way or the other, maybe wreck or cause some.
Okay.
So just work on it, so please, to an extent, not.
Okay, your opinion, ma'am.
I feel we can either play down on our weaknesses, or if it's like business, we outsource it. What I mean is, if you know numbers, I'm just using it.
Yes.
So, like in our business, we have the numbers.
Of course, every business has.
Which side of the business we have more?
I'm
Then
telling
we have
you,
the
which one is
part
working, which
where-
one is not working.
Exactly. We also have the part where you train people. You have the part where you do presentation. So you check, okay, you are strengthening our strengths.
Strengths, yeah.
But then the parts that are not really your strong suits. Yes, when we work on it, you don't want to waste too much time working on it. Instead, we just
She has said it all. She has said it all. You delegate your weaknesses. She has, in fact, she just, yes, you know. See, you are not, it's not as if you are denying it. In fact, the fact that you know it, you are going somewhere.
Yeah.
Are we getting it? You delegate your weaknesses. And it's very, very powerful because the time you are trying to spend to work on it. So if you're an accountant and you don't know number and the number is not entering, Kukuma, look for your strengths. Are you getting it? Look for your strengths and then strengthen your strengths. Because the fact that you are not very good with numbers. So for example, in my business, this is what I love to do. Let me just be there. Let me just do it from. You see that back end work, admin, how many leads did we have? How many? I don't have that energy. So in fact, the first person I got in my organization was a project manager and a data analyst. When you first of all I like planning, but you know when you want to have a project, personal planning is different from you want to do projects. You get it? You look at all the numbers, you look at all the variables. I don't have time. You know, this guy is so good. He loves it so much that when he brings out the back end plan, I'm like, sir, no, I will give honor to whom honor is due. But when it comes to executing that project, nobody can match my energy. They cannot. Nobody on my team can match my. But you see that project analysis, all this Trello, give me all those things you people use for project. You know, all those things. I did project management course. I managed to finish because it's not just my strength. Are we getting it? So what do we do to our opportunities? We amplify it. We do what? What do we do to our opportunities? We amplify it, yes. I want another response. What do we do to our opportunities?
Take advantage of it.
We take advantage of it. The word there is maximize it. Maximize it. So like I said, those strategic volunteering that I was doing, 2 months, 3 months, I'm already in top positions. Because I am very strategic. I look out for opportunities that are in sync with my strengths. So I am Yes, Mr. Ezekiel said we should not be outstanding, that we should, but there are sometimes you need to be outstanding. So by the time I'm doing my work and I'm submitting my report, they just, there's something, let's bring this woman closer. We will be the one at loss if we don't get her in the main team. And then what do we do to our threats? Threats. Yeah. What do you think we do to our threats? Depending on what they are. Okay, give us just, okay. So,
if there are people in the same line of business,
yes.
They are 10 times bigger than you.
Yes.
What's your business?
What's your business? They are bigger than you. They just acknowledge it.
You can learn from them.
You can learn from them, yeah.
Decide to, instead of trying to compete with them, or trying to outdo them, you can differentiate yourself.
Yes, I love that.
You can differentiate yourself. I mean,
And that's what she said. She said that don't compete, but you can differentiate.
yourself and maybe
Yes.
just take one aspect and become
Absolutely.
and that's expert in
Yes.
that area,
Absolutely.
that's the way people come to
Absolutely. But if it's a personal threat, what do you think we can do?
you. It's personal
Threat. If it's not a business threat now, if it's a personal threat.
like life or what?
Whatever, all of us, SWOT is not just for business. It's important you carry SWOT analysis on yourself too. Something that is about to threaten your life, as much as possible, you avoid it. You avoid it. You understand?
You cannot avoid.
Well, so in situations, so of course life happens, right? In those kind of things, there's something called your loci of control, and there's something called your loci of influence, right? So if it is within your loci of control, just avoid it. It's within if it is outside your local, if it's your loci of influence, pray about it. So in conclusion, right, there's something called the law of 6 degrees of separation, and it's the idea that anyone can be connected to any other person through a chain of acquaintances with no more than 5 intermediaries. So it's a law that says that no matter who you want to connect with in this world, you're just 5 persons away. Now don't ask me who are the 5 persons. Yes. See, if there's anything I know Mr. Ezekiel has been bent on bringing Dangote to convention. So if you really want to get him, you can start by asking Mr. Because at a time I remember he told us then that he spoke to his what do they call it? His close circle. So if you really, you can give it the shot. No, but sincerely, I don't know those 5 people, but I believe in the principle.
Looking for those 5 people is the main work.
Yes, now if you want something enough, you give it. Yes.
You might actually not actually.
And sincerely is because we are just joking about it, and because you don't really want to see him.
I'm not very impressed.
Yes, if you really want to see him, where there is a will, there's a way. All right, so now when we talk about networking, there are 3 categories of people we should always look out to network with. The first one is those above us. And what do we look out for? What do we stand to gain when we were networking with people like that? The first thing I said there is what? Foresight. Next is?
Wisdom.
Next is?
Guidance.
Next is? Expertise. Yes. Next is what?
Visibility.
Increase visibility, and then confidence and motivation. And most importantly, lifelong connections and experience. So those are people we see as our mentors, our leaders, whatever those ahead of you means to you. It's important you network with these people because you definitely need them. They've gone ahead of you, they've been there, they've done that, and all of that. Next, it's important for us to network with our contemporaries. And why? You want to stay up to date, especially on your industry trends and developments. You can also make great friends, right? Your contemporaries are likely to be people who share your interests and goals. But remember, it is a strategic partnership and network. Okay? Then, the one that a lot of us take for granted is networking with those that look up to us. These guys have something to really offer us. But a lot of times, we're like, they're not. And so what are the things they can do They can help us with fresh perspective. See, one thing is, I don't joke with my daughter. My daughter she is physically lazy, but mentally hardworking. So if there is anything, she will always look for a smarter way. She's going to be 14 in a couple of months. She's always looking for a smarter way to get something done. So if you actually want to get a smart way to get, just ask her, how do you, in fact, the way she will answer you, you're like, why did I not even think about this? Are we getting it? So we need to, and that's the way the average Gen Z's head is wired. Any little thing, they will tell you, my mental health. Not that they don't want to do anything, but you say anything that will be physically exacting, they don't want. But we millennials, we're raised to do the hard work something.
Power.
The power, you must show power. But for them, anything that will overstress them, that's why they don't want to. You have the Gen Z in your organization and it's coming from a far place. The person will tell you, can I work remotely? After all, the most important thing is to deliver on the job. Yeah. And is that not the most important thing? Yes. But most business owners, they want to be seen there with their 2 korokoro rice. So that aspect of fresh perspective, and then to really stay relevant is important, because they know what are going. We have so many things in our minds. Children are there, our parents are getting aged. My father was just like, while I was here, my mom just called me now, one thing. You understand? But worst case scenario is me, myself, and I. The one that is even in a relationship, the relationship giving him too much stress. Just say, I'm breaking up with you. Then, for enhanced leadership skills, because we will be forced to lead them one way or the other, right? And they will test your leadership skills. Are we getting it? This is my current assistant. She just told me a day or 2 days. Because of this, my trip, I won't work till 30th of June. I'm sorry. The best bet I can do, I'll work till 15th, and between 15th and 30th, I'll have to work remotely because I need to prepare adequately. So if my leadership skills was tested, me that I teach leadership skills every are we getting it? So you will be forced to, when when we partner with people like that, we'll be forced to grow in our leadership skills. Then there's nothing as beautiful as a sense of purpose. The fact that you are able to, share your depth of experiential knowledge, the things that you have been through. By extension, you are reaching out to somebody to also help the person's life become better. That sense of fulfillment, okay, is also very, very important. And then, of course, sense of purpose and sense of fulfillment. So those are my final thoughts. So I'm ready to connect with everyone for strategic partnerships. And I hope that with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that strategic partnership is very, very important. So, like I said, if you also are looking forward to becoming like a certified coach and mentor and all of that in whatever industry that you belong, I can also help with that with the Chartered Institute of Coaching and Mentoring Nigeria and all of that. Okay, so we'll talk later on.